Hi everyone, it's Nangamso Mtsatse from Funda Wande, based in Cape Town, South Africa. I'm so delighted to still be able to present in the e-learning conference organized by VVOP. I know we were supposed to meet in March, however, I think this is our best bet considering the global pandemic. Today, I'll be sharing with you some of the work that we're doing at Funda Wande that includes various aspects from material development to teacher training. But first, let me just give you a bit of background about South Africa. South Africa is a country that is south of Africa. We have 11 official languages and we have up to 9 provinces that each have different official languages according to where you are geographically in the country. Language in general in South Africa historically has been quite a contentious and a very tense discussion. And however, this has implicated some of the practices and the teaching and the learning of languages in the schooling system at large. At Funda Wande, we work in particularly from grade R to 3. So when looking at how to teach languages, or in particularly our mandate is how to teach African languages, some of the research and work that has been done and information that we know that in South Africa, more than 70% of the kids learn how to read in an African language and then from the 4th grade transition into English. We know various reading theories have told us and have shown us the importance of foregrounding or developing strong reading skills in your home language before learning an additional language. Hence, this is why it's an important, very important topic and theme that as a nation we're trying to figure out. Another bit of background about South African schooling system is that even though we are living in a democratic country, schooling is still associated to the economic wealth or economic status of the surrounding areas. We've seen this in the past. Many researchers and research consistently prove to us that we've got a bi-model education system in South Africa. Bi-model in the sense that depending on where your school is, depending on what language you've been taught on, will depict your learning outcomes. So for us, at least at Funda Wande, we're trying to figure out ways of closing learning gaps across different socio-economic groups, languages, or background. So the theory around our intervention is based on the instructional core theory, is that if you want to improve learning outcomes, you need to intervene at the teacher level. Here at Funda Wande, our model is straight, simple, and we're trying to develop teaching materials. We're trying to develop learner materials. We're also, on top of that, trying to train teachers on how to teach reading for meaning. So, in a nutshell, we focus on 4 main areas at Funda Wande, or what we call reading for meaning. Like I mentioned, the one is the training, the materials, the relationships, and the advocacy. So with the materials specifically, we have developed a series of lesson plans that are accompanied by group-guided reading, baseline assessment, and anthologies, which is a combination of graded readers into one booklet. This has been one of our best, or so far one of our success stories, is that these anthologies that were provided or compiled, they were developed by Maltino, and we had compiled them into an anthology series, is now available to every single child that is in a isiXhosa home language school in the Eastern Cape. So from the research that has been conducted nationally, we know that kids that come from poor backgrounds often don't have access to reading resources or reading text. In many cases, these kids only have a Bible at their homes. So with that said, we knew from the very early days of Funda Wande that one of our key interventions would be to provide high quality materials for these learners to use and to learn how to read, as well as high quality materials for the teachers to use in their classroom while teaching reading. This includes lesson plans, which basically means it is a structured learning material that will help teachers to take them through step by step in their teaching or in their lessons. Accompanied by that is an assessment or baseline assessment booklet, which basically assists teachers on how to conduct baseline assessment, not only in the beginning of the year, but throughout the year as kids progress throughout the grade. And also, we have the group-guided reading booklet, which helps teachers to focus or help them conduct or do group-guided reading with the small groups in their classrooms. So with all of these printed materials at Funda Wande, we've also developed videos, multimedia videos that accompany our resources. These videos have a combination from pedagogical approaches or just plain simple explanations or examples for teachers to see what it looks like in class some of these methodological practices that we encourage them to do. One of our additional components is the training element. What we have done with that was to collaborate with a neighboring university, which is based in the Eastern Cape, Rhodes, and we've developed the very first and unique course of its own that is aligned to the recently curriculum document that has been issued by the Department of Education. This course specifically focuses on teaching and the teaching of reading in the foundation phase. We had the first cohort last year, and this course includes from teachers to heads of departments to, in fact, anyone that's working within the NGO space can enroll for this course. The course includes a total of 12 modules that is done part-time over 2 years. We've worked very closely with the Department of Education in Eastern Cape, which they have also managed to provide bursaries, top-up bursaries to their own subject advisors to enroll in this course. Capacity building in African language teaching and learning is quite high up in the country's agenda. We do truly believe that this could be possibly one of the methods or at least interventions that could help us change teacher practices. So another part or another component of the training which recently has come to life was or is the Reading Academy. The Reading Academy was developed based on or due to the COVID pandemic and the school closures, having many teachers and learners staying at home during the lockdown period. We've been in discussions with provinces, teachers, and other literacy experts around the country. We wanted to maximize this period while teachers are sitting at home and not teaching at all, and use it as time to do teacher development. So what we did was to take the key sort of top 10 topics that are being taught or that have been included in the Rhodes course and developed a blended online self-paced course that teachers could do at the comfort of their own home. Now the idea of this course is that it's not such a intense academic course, but more to better or to develop teachers' content knowledge of how or the concepts of how to teach reading for meaning. This course in total comprises of 4 booklets, and the topics that we specifically focus on is decoding, comprehension, CAPS activity, and also second part of CAPS activities. At least from the work that we've done, observations that we have conducted, and as well as discussions amongst the literacy space at large in South Africa, we've realized that even the basic or key foundations to teaching reading is still an issue amongst teachers. So this Reading Academy is going to be implemented in 2 provinces, Eastern Cape Province and as well as the Western Cape Province. But it's also open to anyone to be able to do it. It's free, it's on our website, it's self-paced, and we believe that it's very engaging, and at least it provides the foundations or the basic content knowledge of what you would need to be able to teach reading for meaning. So we have a random control trial in the Eastern Cape Province that includes 60 schools, in which 30 of these schools we are working in specifically. Our intervention model is pretty much straightforward. We have included literacy coaches that visit schools at least twice in a 2-week cycle in supporting the teachers in the foundation phase on how to teach reading in their classrooms. And obviously in these schools and in these classrooms, they're making use of the materials that we have developed. And we're basically just trying to explore what does it look like when teachers have specific support in the teaching of language, or at least in the teaching of literacy in the foundation phase. In this RCT, we're working in predominantly 3 districts, that is Sarabatman, that is Makanda, and as well as the Buffalo City. And this is placed in various contexts and different regions of the Eastern Cape. But the most important thing here is that these schools that we're working in are specifically isiXhosa home language. Therefore, they are taught how to read or learn how to read in isiXhosa. We have a team of about 8 coaches that have been led by Zaza, who is our head coach in the Eastern Cape and the head of intervention in Eastern Cape. And recently, at the beginning of this year, we've also launched our numeracy element of the intervention. And this basically comes from the demand and the interest of teachers in our intervention. In South Africa, most teachers are a jack of all trades. They not just only teach literacy, but they teach numeracy and as well as life skills. So we've had to rethink our model, and we've had to recreate a comprehensive model or a more comprehensive approach in the foundation phase, or the teaching of learners in the foundation phase. At the end of 2019, we had our midline assessment, and we were very encouraged by the results. Although after 1 year of intervention, we've seen some learning shifts or some learning gains, and the detailed report is available on our website should you be interested. As you can recall, earlier on I mentioned that we also have this roads course that has also was started in 2019, and we were very privileged that the course was reviewed by Graduate School of Education at Harvard University in the USA. The lead investigators or the lead reviewers of the report was Professor Catherine Snow and as well as Dr. Pamela Manson. They worked together with a group of their postgrad students in reviewing the entirety of the course. So from the actual material itself to the app which the students engage with, and as well as the videos that have been included into the course. Detailed information about this report is also available on the website. Recently, we've been planning an additional RCT intervention in Limpopo, particularly looking at Sepedi. This intervention is slightly different, or the model of the intervention is different from the one that we're currently undertaking in Eastern Cape. This one particularly looks at unemployment youth. Recently, we've been planning an additional RCT intervention in Limpopo, the teaching of reading for African languages. This intervention is slightly different, or the model of the intervention is different from the one that we currently teachers assistant undertaking in Eastern Cape. And the second wing with just particularly looks at unemployment youth, which is the unemployment youth that will be used as teachers assistant with the teaching of help them facilitate and help them. So this intervention will comprise of maximum up to about 3 wings. One of the key takeaways from everything that we've been doing, we've understood it as to being a learning process. Here at Funda Wande, we know that what we're trying to do is not a one-day fix, and that it takes time, and it most probably will take a lot of investigation, research to be able to, and evidence-based, most importantly, to be able to put forward strongly an approach or a method that would be used by the country at large. I think one of the key take-homes that we've learned with the current material that we have is that budget constraint is a reality in South African Department of Education. Therefore, we need to be able to bring forward high-quality materials, but at a very low, or at least a cost-effective way. Our initial intervention in the Eastern Cape comprised sort of different moving parts. As I mentioned to you, we had lesson plans, booklets, videos, all these things that teachers needed to navigate in their classrooms. But now, after a year, we've thought about the approach of our materials, and from work that has been done by Ben Piper and the RTI Tusome project in Kenya, we've now learned that reducing the number of moving parts for teachers to be able to feel confident and less complex models to be able to maximize teacher utilization is key. So with Limpopo next year, particularly with Sepedi, we'll be specifically focusing on a new material set, which we are calling the Integrated Literacy Workbook. Now this has not just literacy included, but as well as life skills. And one of our mandates here is to try to explore or to experiment what are the ways, or what does it look like to shift learning gains in the poor communities, or at least in the African language classrooms. And for us, for Funda Wande, we're not trying to do that for government. What we're trying to do is to use evidence-based interventions and as well as philanthropical money to influence government on how they use or how they spend the education budget, in particularly when it comes to LTSM, learning and teaching support material. So like I said, Funda Wande is only about 3 years old. We have ambitious goals. We've got a committed team and people that believe in this cause for the long run. It's not something that we're trying to fix, or it's not something that we will fix within the next 2-3 years. Our mandate is to be able to have all of our materials developed and available in all the official languages. We encourage collaboration. We approach other NGOs to work with us in our development of the materials, like our training courses, working together with Rhodes. And we found that to be quite key in the take-up and in the implementations of our programs and projects. So you can go onto our website, www.fundawande.org. You can check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn for any further information, or you can reach out to me personally, nangamso@fundawande.org. If you have any further questions about the presentation, or should you want for me to share any resources with you. Thank you very much, and I hope you found this very interesting and informative. And I look forward to engaging with everyone, in fact, and learning from other organizations, not just national organizations, but international organizations, on what they're doing or how they're intervening in trying to reduce or increase the learning outcomes in the foundation phase. Thank you. Ingozi.